Hey guys, today I want to share with you how to remove your money blocks. So you may be familiar with the concept that we had a financial set point where there's a certain number that's normal to us, and whether we have good times where we make a bit more or bad times where we make a bit less, we tend to always come back to our financial comfort zone, so to speak. So that's also where we have the money blocks. So people that are really struggling to let in wealth, to get rich or have abundance, they always have some money blocks. Now, that's what I want to get into. So we're going to go into how it works in the mind and how to shift what happens in the mind so that we can remove any blocks. Okay, so let's start with what the money blocks are. We're going to call them paradigms. So we have certain paradigms, patterns that are patterns of thinking, behavior, of emotion around any specific topic in life. So when it comes to money, it will determine what amount is a normal amount for you. It will determine how it's supposed to come to you, how easy or hard it's supposed to come to you, through what channels it's supposed to come to you, whether it's supposed to come from your job or from your dad or from your husband or from your business or from investments, whatever. That's the pattern that you have around money. And anything that's outside of it, you won't be able to see. It's just like because you're not on the wavelength of it. So anything that is sort of easier than you expect it to be, or from a different source than you expect it to be, you can't see those opportunities. And where does this paradigm come from? It starts with, well, when you grow, it's your environment basically. So that would be as a child, your parents, and as an adult, throughout your life, it's your environment. So when you're a child, your environment is mostly like your parents, right? But then it's our friends, it's our environment, it's our culture, it's the TV shows we're watching, it's the music that we listen to. Any information that you're exposed to is going to shape your paradigm, is going to set what's normal to you, what's considered, a normal way of life, right? So I'm just looking at my notes so I don't forget anything. So unless you know how to change this paradigm in your mind, it will be set for life. So for example, that's how you get these like generational curses, so to speak, or generational trauma or generational anything, because it's just passed down. Unless you know how to change it, it'll just keep getting passed down, right? But once it's changed for life. So for good or bad, if it's changed for bad, it's set for life, and if it's changed for good, then that's also set for life. So if you change it from if you have money blocks and then you overcome them, they're overcome for life. You don't have to worry about those specific blocks ever again. And once you get to that new level, that's going to be your new normal, and that's going to be all you can see. And then in order to shift to a next level, you're going to have to tweak some things again, right? So the paradigms are in our subconscious mind. And what most people don't know is that the subconscious mind rules 95 to 97% of all our thoughts, all our behavior, all our emotions. So we think that it feels like our conscious mind is where the power is, right? If I'm thinking something, I should be able to do it. I should be able to manifest it and whatever. But the subconscious mind, considering it has like 95 to 97% of the power, anything that you do with those 3 to 5% in the conscious mind, it's got like no chance of overcoming what's in your subconscious mind. So you could be affirming that, oh, I'm so rich and abundant or whatever, but if you're in your subconscious mind have a paradigm that contradicts it, that's always going to win. Sorry, I'm getting so excited. So just letting my breath catch up with me. Okay, so how do we change it? Here's the deal. You can change it in two ways. The first way is through emotional impact, and that usually happens unintentionally. and it's usually negative. That's how we get the trauma and the PTSD. So PTSD, for example, is what we call it when someone's, for example, they've been to war or something traumatic happened to them. It may have been like a short experience, but it was so intense in terms of emotion that it has shaped their behavior ever since. So ever since then, they get triggered by certain things. They do behaviors that they're not really happy about. They do things that they don't want to be doing. Maybe they're mean to their family, or they're mean to themselves, or like they do like destructive things, right? So the emotional impact way of changing a paradigm is not the way that we want to go, because it's usually negative. The other way of changing it is through repetition. So repetition is actually how it's formed. So it's formed through our environment. We're repeating certain things, like our parents would repeat certain, not necessarily in their words, but in terms of what was considered normal. So parents would repeat it, our culture would repeat it, our friends would repeat it, certainly the media we're exposed to keeps repeating certain concepts, right? We're being fed what is normal. And so the way to change that is through repetition, but doing it intentionally, doing it with what you choose to program your mind with, as opposed to what you're just exposed to, right? And people tend to underestimate how much repetition is required, and they tend to underestimate how much they're already being programmed. So if you consider, say you want to change your paradigm, so you want to say, let's say, you want to be making 100% jump in your income, right? Now, in our culture, that's considered completely unrealistic. What's realistic is like a 5 to 10%. That's how much people make on average in their investments. That's the amount of pay increase they get in their salaries every year. That's what's considered normal. So in order to do something different from what's, the general accepted normal way, you have to program yourself more than all the other information that you're exposed to. That means you may need to watch less news. In fact, you need to turn off the news completely. You need to perhaps stop listening to anything that is contradictory to what you want to achieve, as well as keep repeating to yourself what you do want to achieve, which is making double the income, double the return on investment, or double the whatever, right? So I'm just thinking if I've made that point clear enough. I hope I have. Okay, another thing that needs to change is that once you've programmed that, and here's the thing about the programming as well, is that your mind is, if you consider the paradigms, it is like a program in the sense that once it's set, you're on autopilot. You are on autopilot, that it controls 95 to 97% of all your thoughts, all your feelings, all your behaviors. So it is a program. But once it's set in the way, in an intentional way, then that also works on autopilot. That means making that more money is going to be easy. It's going to be effortless because it just runs on. You don't have to like consciously reprogram it. It's just once it's set, it's set. That's it. It's a set and forget type of thing. But in order to program it, it does take a lot more repetition than people think. What else? Also, what needs to change oftentimes, or well, every time, is that self-image. People underestimate how powerful your view of yourself is. So life will always reflect back to you what you decide that you are. Now, if you have a self-image of, if you have, I'll take myself as an example, right? So I come from a minority of people, and a big part of our self-image as that minority of people is that we have been oppressed. We're a minority, we've been oppressed, and it's, people don't know the world doesn't know of our plight as Kurdish people and all of that. And so we get the results of that, right? So we don't have our own country and all of that. Whereas if you have a self-image of a winner, you're going to have the results of that. Like, I want to give you some better examples. Okay, I'll tell you what happened for me. What really shifted for me, because using this information that I'm sharing with you now freely, using this information, I went from having like negative net worth all of my life. So your net worth is all of your assets, all of the things that you own in terms of value, minus all of the debts you have. So I had huge student loans, right? And so my net worth, my total worth in terms of money was negative all of my life. When I made this shift, it became not only positive net worth, but it was like I made like how many times more? I think about 9 times in just over a year. That's how powerful the shift is. And I made it doing less. I did the programming as the effort that I put in. I didn't put in any more effort in terms of like work or, stuff like that. I just made all the effort was on the reprogramming of my mind. And so what I had to do was reprogram my mind daily, shut off all the influences that were contradictory to what I wanted to achieve, put myself in an environment that was conducive to the change that I wanted. So surrounding myself with people that were also going for this change, and changing my self-image, and having a clear goal. Now, self-image and goal, what it will do for you. Let me just go quickly into the goals as well. Usually why people fail at goals is because they make them like mind-centered goals. They're goals about what I think I should be doing, what sounds good, what's like an ego thing, right? I want to achieve this so that I can show my parents or show my peers that I've achieved whatever. It's not like we don't have like an emotional connection to it usually. But when you have an emotional connection to your goal, whereas like you set a goal that is connected to what you truly, truly want in your heart, right? That's when the manifestations happen, because it's the heart that has the power. The heart is connected to your subconscious mind. That's why the emotional impact makes a difference in your paradigms, right? When you're emotionally connected to your goal, that in itself has power. So when you when you have a vision of what you want to achieve, and it's something that really, you love it, and it just makes you feel so happy and so fulfilled just thinking about it, that in itself is going to set things off in your life. So back to self-image. What changed for me is that I went from having a self-image of being really, really small and being small, I suppose is the best word to describe it. I felt small. And although I knew I was worthy, I didn't feel worthy. And there's certainly a distinction there, because people think that, and I used to think that, if I know that I'm worthy, then that means I'm worthy, or life, should reflect that. But life doesn't reflect what you think. Life reflects how you feel. So when you don't feel worthy, even though you know that you are, life will reflect back to you that you're not. So that is what changed in me as well. I completely revamped my self-image, how I looked at myself. Now, one way of doing that, like if you want like a shortcut to that, and I don't believe in shortcuts in terms of, it's not like a long-term thing, but there are some things you can do quickly and some things that take a long time. But like one of the quickest way to affect your self-image is to every day present yourself in ways that impress you. Okay. So if you're getting dressed to go out, or, fixing your hair or whatever, you need to be happy with your result. Don't do it for other people. Do it in a way that you feel happy with, because that's going to shift how people respond to you. When you like what you see, when you're proud of yourself, that's what's going to affect how other people treat you as well. That's what's going to affect what life gives you back. And my God, I think I covered all the things. I mean, this was just a general overview. I will go into this in a lot more detail in my masterclass. That each day we will go into more detail on these paradigms, self-image, goals, how we do it. It's very interactive, so it's going to require you to participate to some extent, so that we can shift your vibrational frequency there and then, I'm sure. And I'm excited and I'm nervous, and I hope to see you there. And the purpose here is really to shift things there and then for you. So if you participate, I'm going to do my part to make a shift for you. And as long as you participate, you're going to really get lasting value. I believe we can even shift some money blocks there and then, hopefully. Thank you.